Ata ibn Yasar radiallahu anhu said that when the dead wakes up in his grave, the first thing that will come to him are his deeds. So the deeds will strike his thigh and wake him up and say, Ana amaluk, I am your deeds. So then the man will say, where's my family? Where are my kids? Where are my people? Where is what Allah has given me? And the deeds will say, you have left your family, you've left your children, you've left your people and all that Allah has granted you behind you. And you're not going to live in this grave except with me. So then the man will say, Laytani athartuka ala ahli wa waladi wa ashirati. Woe to me, I wish I would have preferred you over my family, my children, my people, and everything Allah granted me, since nothing will live with me now except for you. The Prophet ﷺ famously said, 3 things follow you to your grave: your wealth, your family, and your deeds. Your wealth and your family turn back, but your deeds stay with you. That's in regards to your worldly family. But you'll notice something else in the narrations about the barzakh. Everyone else visits you and you visit them, but you only actually live with your deeds. The Prophet ﷺ said that when you see your deeds, you would already know from the look of them what type of news they bring you. So you're either awakened by some beautiful human form or a really ugly one, and that's based on how you made them. Our deeds are the most important thing we're going to send forward into the barzakh. They protect you, they accompany you, they live with you, and in some cases, they save you. And when we hear about the punishment of the grave and the terrifying aspects, and then look at our life and our deeds, we may not feel like we measure up. A lot of people feel very disconnected and so far away from those actions that bring a person salvation. But like with everything else, it's important to focus on the fundamentals. So the Prophet ﷺ said, the most beloved deeds to Allah are the consistent ones, even if they're small. You don't realize, but every time you're making wudu for the sole purpose of pleasing Allah, those could be washing your future self from sins that would have otherwise incurred the punishment of the grave. And what you're going to notice when we get into the specific punishments of the grave is that they're usually bad habits that people have that accumulate into eventually becoming major sins. Also remember that the grave is a place for purification for some of the believers so that they don't have to be purified in the hereafter. And for others, it's a preview of what's worse and is yet to come. Now, many of us are familiar with the long hadith of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj where the Prophet ﷺ mentions the specific deeds that bring about punishment for a person. There's also this long, beautiful narration that Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah said we should memorize, where the Prophet ﷺ goes through the specific things that save you in the grave. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I saw a thirsty man from my nation who was being turned away from every water basin. And then fasting during the month of Ramadan approached him and it quenched his thirst. So I want you to think about when you hold yourself back from drinking water on a hot day and you're fasting, and how amazing that first sip of water is at iftar. Imagine how much sweeter that sip of water is in the barzakh after the long expedition into the grave. Also, one of the things that the scholars mention of the wisdoms of this is that in Jannah, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever drinks wine in this world will be forbidden from it in the hereafter. But you forbade yourself from wine here, so you get to drink it in Jannah. Now likewise in barzakh, you forbade yourself from water here during your fasting, so Allah lets you have it there instead.